What's up, YouTube? Welcome to this next video of this series where we are learning about de-escalation and use of force course. And this is a course which I successfully completed before becoming a tactical guard. And what I'm telling you here is what's working for me after being into the workforce for about a month now. And it's working for me and hopefully it will work for you. So, in the first video that I posted in this series was about the introduction that what we're gonna look into the next videos. So in the next two videos, which was part 2.1 and part 2.2, we have looked into how to manage the resistive behavior of individuals. And in part 3.1, which was the previous video, we have looked into the criminal code. And in this one, we're gonna continue what what's remaining in the criminal code. So as I said earlier, in the last video, we have looked into Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom, common terms and definitions, three types of offenses. So this was all covered in part 3.1. So you can watch that as well. So in today's video, we're gonna look into citizens' power of arrest and use of force application. So let's begin. Let me grab the pen and soon we're gonna start. So we're gonna look into citizen powers of arrest. So according to section 494, subsection 1, anyone may arrest without warrant, and there are some conditions to that. So anyone can arrest without warrant if the person whom he sees committing an offense. And number B, a person who on reasonable grounds he believes has committed a criminal offense and slash or is escaping from slash freshly pursued by lawful authority to arrest. So guys, even if you are not the tactical guards or not working into law enforcement services, you can also do an arrest as a citizen. It's your right. So this was about section 494 subsection 1. And now let's look into section 494 subsection number 2. So according to this, the owner or a person authorized by the owner, such as security, may arrest a person without a warrant if they find them committing a criminal offense on or in relation to that property. So, in that case, if the other person is committing crime against or in relation to the property, the owner or the person authorized by the owner can arrest at that time or within a reasonable time. So guys, in the last video when we talked about the common terms and definitions, I have forgot it to explain what a reasonable time is. So we're gonna look at into it in this video. So according to Canadian government, reasonable time is not clearly defined. So a reasonable time can be 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 week, 1 day, 1 year. So these were the two sections that I think is reasonable to us as a security and for the citizen as a whole. And now we're gonna look into the steps to make a proper arrest. So guys, any guesses? Do you have any guesses about how to do a proper arrest? So the first step is to identify yourself. Then we advise the person that they are under arrest. And then we tell them the reason why they are under arrest. And fourthly, we take the physical control of that person. And finally, we advise the person of their rights to counsel. So they can call their lawyer or the person they want to be counseled with at any moment. So, yes, these are the steps to a proper arrest. And if I have to give you an example, then it would be as a tactical guard, I would say, my name is Aniket Punj with Regal Security, and I saw you trespassing this private property, and for that reason, you are under arrest. And I don't know if that's a valid reason to arrest someone, but that's the example that came into my mind. So now we're gonna look into some of the common arrestable offenses. Let me see. I am writing in the right place. Yeah, I am. So yeah, let's look into some of the common arrestable offenses. So as I said in the last video, we have three types of offenses, which starts with indicable, summary, and dual procedure. So we're gonna look into each one of those one at a time. So let me make it easier for you to read. So we'll start with indicable offense. So under indicable offense, we have something that's causing bodily harm with intent. Then aggravative, we have aggravated assault. It can be a punch, a slap. And by the way, if you do or see someone do punching or slapping someone, then you or the other person can be imprisoned for a term not exceeding 14 years. So that's a quite a long time for punching or slapping someone. So be careful, guys. So the third thing is robbery. Fourth one is breaking and entering with intent. And fifth is damage to property. So these were the five main indicable offense that will be punished severely. And now let's look for summary offense. So when I think about summary offense, the first thing came into my mind is possession of weapon for oops for dangerous purpose. Secondly, indecent acts such as insult or you are offending someone. That comes into summary conviction. Number three is exposure of genital to a person under the age of 14. Fourth is nudity. For example, you are if you are nude in public or nude and exposed to public while on private property. So maybe you are nude at your room and your window is open and somebody driving by sees you nude. So that's also comes under summary conviction. And the fifth thing is if you are causing disturbance. So one example would be blasting music after 10 p.m. So now these were the five summary convictions. And now if we talk about dual procedure, then the first thing that comes into my mind is carrying concealed weapon. And this is not lawfully allowed. I mean, the weapons you are carrying, which are not lawfully allowed comes under dual procedure. So the prosecutor can go either way. He can consider it as an indictable offense or a summary offense. So it's better not to carry any concealed weapon. Second thing is the possession of prohibited weapon. Third would be uttering threats. Fourth is an assault. Fifth is assault with weapon. And in my opinion, this has much high chances of getting into indictable offense or conviction because we have weapon in our hand. Number six is theft. And lastly, number 7 is mischief. So these were some of the common arrestable offenses according to Canadian law. And now let's go over use of force applications on a separate side. So use of force application. And guys, I'm very hungry as for now. And after recording this one, I'm going directly to my kitchen and preparing something to eat. So under this one, according to section 25, subsection 1, everyone who is required or authorized by law to do anything in the enforcement of the law must act on reasonable grounds that's justified in doing what he/she is required to do and in using as much force as is necessary for that purpose. So, to reiterate, everyone who is required or authorized by law to do anything in the enforcement of the law must act on reasonable grounds that is justified in doing what he or she is required to do and is using as much force as is necessary for that purpose. So now, according to section 25, subsection 3, a person is not justified in using the force that is intended to cause death or serious harm unless person believes, oops, on reasonable grounds that it is necessary for self preservation. So, again, a person is not justified in using force that is intended to cause the death and serious harm and slash or serious harm unless the person believes on reasonable grounds that it is necessary for self preservation. So now we have two more sections to go over. And by the way, guys, again, the stuff I'm telling you here is what I think is important. But for you, it might be something else. And to get into that and to look what's important for you, you need to go through the entire workbook. So if you want the workbook, then you can email me on the email that I will be providing below in the descriptions, and we will get something going from there. Okay, so now let's look into section number 27, and it says everyone is justified in using as much force as is reasonably necessary to prevent the commission of offense. And as I said earlier, offenses can be indicable or summary, oh, or dual procedure. So section number 27 is also done. And now the last section for this video, which would be section number 34, subsection number 2. So these are the factors in determining if the offense or the act is reasonable. And by the way, guys, this is the stuff that will be used by the court if you ever get convicted or you ever have to go to the hearing as tactical guard or as a citizen or as a victim. So the first thing the court gonna look at will be the nature of the force or the threat. The second thing they're going to look is whether there was other means available. The third thing they're going to look into the person's role in the incident. The fourth thing they're going to look into the threat or the usage of a weapon. Oops. The fifth thing they're going to look is the size, age, and gender of the parties. So if you are a man and you committed a crime or you are doing something wrong, then it will be hard for you to get out if the other party is female. Because that's how the court works. Number six, any relationship between the parties. And the last thing will be whether the person knew the act committed was lawful. And for me, boss, I cannot trick the court with this because they're gonna attach me a lie detector machine and everything will become out. So this brings us to the end of the criminal code. So in the next video, we're gonna look into the restraint program and defense against the sharp-edged object. And I believe the defenses against sharp-edged object is something to learn practically, which we cannot do. But there are some theoretical things that I will be going over in the next few videos. Maybe it will take me 2 videos more to cover the restraint program and defenses against the sharp-edged object. So guys, stay tuned and until next time, take care. As always, done.